Hi, I'm Esther Eckhart and I'm with yogetic.com. Today I'd like to show you a short sequence when you're in your cycle, when you're menstruating. I think it's all about, in that time, tuning into your body and see what it feels like. Sometimes I like a bit of an upbeat sequence. It can be just the thing I need to ground and to shift some feelings of the blues. But just check into your body. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to do a few sun salutations before the sequence, if you're up to it, if you have the energy, and otherwise you can straight go into this sequence. Okay, I'd like to start with reclined bound ankle pose, Supta Baddha Konasana. It's nice to have two folded blankets or anything that you have, and I have a block underneath as well where I can put my head on. You can do a book, anything really, and you can also do it flat on the floor. This is just to make it extra comfortable. You place the soles of your feet together and you lean back. You can also support your hips, your knees with blocks. Even if you're not so far down, you can put the blocks up quite high to give support to the hips. Now, the reason I support it is when the stretch is going to be too intense, the inner thigh muscles are just going to harden and it's not actually going to open your hips at all. It's when the groins are moving down is when the hips open, and that is more likely to happen if the stretch isn't too intense, and then you can actually release the groins. So that's something to bear in mind. Even if you're flexible, it can still be very helpful to support your knees in this. Okay, you can have your hands on your belly, and this is just really, really comfortable. And I would suggest breathing towards the pelvis, towards the lower belly, towards the groins. And you could stay in this pose between the 5 and 10 minutes. I would suggest at least 3 to get the benefits of the hips opening and this whole area to really relax. The next pose is Janu Sirsasana. You sit with your left leg straight out and your right foot on the inside of your left thigh. Remember, again, if your knee hurts, support it with a block. And if you find it difficult to sit up straight, place a block underneath your hips. You're going to inhale, lengthen the body, and bring the lower back forward, tilting the hips that way. And on the out breath, you can come down into Janu Sirsasana. In this pose as well, it can be really nice to support your body. So you can support your body with a block underneath your forehead, or the 2 blankets I used, you can just place them over your legs so your whole body can rest on them. Okay, and I would suggest as well staying in this pose for 3 minutes each side. So when you're finished with the left side, you're doing the right side. It can be nice to roll the thigh underneath a little bit to the side so you really ground on the sit bone. And again, to get in, breathing in, lengthening, shoulder blades back, exhaling, hinging from the hips by bringing the pubic bone back towards the wall behind you, and you come down. And again, keeping the back of the neck long. It doesn't matter where you are, whether you're all the way down here or whether you're up there. You're just holding it for about 3 minutes. And after 3 minutes on an in-breath, you lengthen and you come up. Okay, the next pose I'd like to show you is Upavishta Konasana. And you sit first with your legs straight out in front of you, and from there you're going to turn your legs out. I'd say about 90 degrees if you can, if it's available to you. If it's difficult for you to sit up straight in this pose, I recommend again to sit on a block. You're going to be lengthening on the in-breath. Your toes are pointing up, your knees are pointing up, and you keep it that way. And on an out-breath you can slowly come forward. And you might only come forward a few inches, and that's okay. And definitely you want to go slow. And just take the time to feel how deep you can go. And there's no need to go anywhere. You can just be where you are. It will give you the stretch that is beneficial for the time of the month. So whether you get your head down on the floor or whether you're all the way up here, really doesn't matter. And as well, you can hold this for at least 3 minutes. Coming back up on the in-breath, and we do a twist in this pose. So you're going to face towards your right leg, inhaling, lengthening, and on the out-breath, you're coming down over the right leg. And again, where you are in this pose doesn't matter. You do keep grounding the left sit bone into the floor. Don't let yourself come up all the way. It just means you go a little less deep. And you're coming up, and you do the same to the left side. On the out-breath, coming down, grounding that right sit bone. Doesn't matter where you end up for another 3 minutes. And coming up. Okay, then the next pose I'd like to show you is a supported bridge, a supported back bend, which I really like. So you're getting a block or a book, doesn't really matter what you use, something solid. And you're lying on your back. And on an in-breath, with the knees bent on an in-breath, you're going to press into the feet and lift your hips up. And place a block underneath your pelvis. Underneath the sacrum, really. So you can rest it. And this is a real release for the lower back. And you just breathe towards the whole area again of the lower belly, the hips. And you release it on the out breath. And I suggest holding this pose for 3 minutes as well. Okay, that's it. That's a few poses you can do when you're having your menstruation. And it's going to make you feel better. It will just get rid a little bit of the sluggishness. It might relieve some cramps or some blues. So practice it and let me know how you get on.